Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the second coming and the Christ consciousness. Now, when I first started my spiritual awakening and I started hearing about the Christ and the Christ consciousness and things like that, I thought to myself, well, that's not for me because that's part of religious texts. You know, I'm not really that way inclined. I'm not part of any sort of religious sector. I'm not trying to influence anybody here. If you are part of a religious sector, great. I just can't speak from that point of view because I'm not part of any particular religion. But what I would say is I do study spirit and energy, okay? And the Christ consciousness is very much part of that. The Christ consciousness is inclusive of everyone and everything, no matter what sector, no matter what religious group, no matter whether you're atheist and you don't believe any of it. The Christ consciousness actually includes everyone and everything in its embrace, let's just say, okay? So what will the second coming look like? This is just from my point of view. This is just what I've learned and I've understood about how the second coming might show itself on this planet, okay? So 2,000 years ago, approximately, a man incarnated by the name of Yeshua or Jesus. And his mission, his sole mission, was to come to planet Earth and to embody the Christ consciousness and to radiate it out and show everybody that they are also capable of embodying that consciousness. Okay, why would you want to show people that they can embody the Christ consciousness? The Christ consciousness is an energy that is within all of us. It makes up all of us. What Yeshua did is when he incarnated, his mission was to show people what that looks like and what that feels like. Because for many, many years, thousands and thousands of years, humans have been incarnating on this planet and we've forgotten our connection to our source. We've forgotten the love that we are. We've forgotten where we came from, where we originated from. And we originated from source energy. Source energy, some might call that God, divine creator, whatever you want to call it. I tend to refer to it as source energy. That is our origins. But that energy is an extremely beyond words powerful, potent energy that is so high frequency, that if we embodied that whole energy, it would be too much for a human body because the frequency is so high of source love, and human bodies, human beings vibrate lower because they've incarnated into the denser realms. So there's the dense realms that the humans have incarnated into, and then source love is right up there somewhere. So it's not really a match. So if Yeshua, to embody that Christ consciousness, that source energy, it was it was a smaller amount, but it was potent enough to make a difference. Okay, so the teachings made such a difference because even just a smaller amount of that, enough for a physical body to handle. Bearing in mind, yes, his light quotient was a lot higher because when he awakened in that lifetime, his light increased every time he released all of the things that he wasn't, and he awakened, and he went through his ego death and everything. He had to do that. He had to go through that experience of shedding all of the layers of what he thought he was, to embody more of that Christ light, more of that light, more of that light. So he increased his frequency every time he did that. Okay, we can all do this, guys. Okay, and what he was teaching people at that time, it was a little bit more difficult for him to teach at that time because 2,000 years ago, the vibration of the planet was even lower than it is now, much lower in consciousness. So of course he incarnated, he embodied that Christ light. Bodied the Christ light, he spread his teachings, he spread the love that he was, it radiated out into everybody. However, there was a lot of people at that time that just didn't understand it. They were almost in fear of it, because when we're so disconnected for a very long time from our true selves, which is love, pure unconditional love of the source, it can almost scare us when we kind of reconnect in with that a little bit. And what Yeshua did is, as he was radiating that pure love energy, that pure golden Christ consciousness out, people were in fear. So because they were in fear, they were kind of ridiculing him a bit, and they were not understanding him. And you know the stories that we've heard. He went through what others might perceive to be a tough time, but to him, because he was so embodied in that Christ energy, it didn't sway him from his mission. He just saw everybody through the eyes of love, which is what Source sees us as. So he embodied that energy to show us what we are, to remind us what we are. But like I said, back then, 2,000 years ago, there was a lot more of a fear response to that, hence why he went through all the things that he went through. I won't go too much into that, okay? But what he was trying to teach us, he was trying to say, you can all do this as well. You have the same spark of the divine within you. You can do this. You can radiate love. You can embody the Christ light exactly the same as me. So the qualities of the Christ consciousness: unconditional love, grace, mercy, radical compassion, self-love, love for others. You get the gist, kindness, real kindness. Some people were regressed. People have had past life regressions. I don't know if you're familiar with Dolores Cannon's work, but she shares some of these stories. She's not with us anymore, but obviously it's in a lot of her texts and things like that. What she said was that people were regressed, and they went back to the time where they actually existed in an incarnation when Jesus was on the planet. And she asked them, while they were under regression, while they were in hypnosis, what is he like? And they said, he's so kind. We just weren't used to this type of kindness back then. It was almost alien to us. He was so kind. And what they were saying is, just by standing in the same vicinity as him, he was healing you just by standing next to you, because his vibration was so full of love that if there was anything traumatic or painful within you, he would be pulling it out just by standing next to you, okay? But that was very unfamiliar for people back then. The second coming is not going to be, this is my opinion, okay, not trying to influence you. The second coming of the Christ is not going to just be through one person this time. It's going to be through many. It's going to be through all of us, and it's already trying to awaken. Well, I say trying, it's awakening within us now. The thing that we're struggling with is we're all struggling with shedding the parts of us that we're not, parts of the self that we identify with that might be lower frequency, limiting beliefs, old pains, old traumas, for that Christ consciousness to come through all of us. Like Jesus once said, you can do the same as me. I'm not trying to make out that I'm any better than you. You can all do this. I will show you how you can do it. Okay? Like I said, some took it on board, some didn't. Again, he incarnated at a very challenging time, but that was his mission. Now is coming through all of us. That kindness, grace, mercy, compassion, that pure, pure, pure golden love energy that is beyond words almost, is now waking up in all of us, so that we can all embody that Christ light, and we can all radiate it out into the world. And what do you think the world's going to look like if we all do that? Imagine how the world could change. Imagine how golden our planet can become. And I say golden because if you could see the energy of the Christ consciousness, it would be a beautiful gold colour. Shimmering gold, okay? He would have radiated that shimmering gold outwards, okay, from his aura. What he was saying is we can all do the same. We can all embody that. We can even do that now in this lifetime. What he did at the time, his mission was to do, basically, he did it all in one lifetime. He went through the crucifixion, he went through the resurrection, and then he fully embodied his light quotient, 100%, his cells filled with light, and he chose to, many say he, seemed to float up to the sky in a big blaze of glory. His cells hit 100% light quotient because he fulfilled his mission, and he was an ascended master. So he fulfilled his mission, and he made the decision from a soul level that he would show people when he, went through the transition that he did, he would show people before he passed over to the other side what becoming an ascended master would look like. And when your cells fill with 100% light quotient, your body ceases to exist because it's just become pure light. So the essence still exists, but the body just integrates into that light because he hits 100% light quotient, okay? But what he's saying is we're all capable of that. Many ascended masters have done this. Not just Yeshua, there are other ascended masters that have embodied that Christ light as well. And what they've done is some of them have chosen to ascend on the other side in spirit. But what Yeshua did is he did it in front of everybody. And again, people probably went, oh, what's that? But that was his choice, to show people this is what you can do, this is what happens. So the second coming is already here, and it's going to come through all of us. And that is what is going to transform the world. And we are now at a point in our evolution where we can accept that and understand that a lot more. What this world needs is pure source love. We have been crying out for it for centuries on this planet, and now it's coming back, and it's within all of us. So our task is to allow ourselves to be 100% of who we authentically are. And by doing that, we become the love that we are, and we radiate it out, and we transform the world. This is what he was teaching us to do 2,000 years ago, and now it's happening again. And this is what we would call the golden age of Aquarius, where everything turns from a fear-based consciousness into a pure love-based consciousness. I hope you enjoyed this video. Many blessings to you at Christmas. Bye.